graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Everett Lee Show, a shot of entertainment to the head. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
Welcome to another episode of ELS, the Everett Lee Show podcast. I'm Everett Lee. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone. Thank everyone for downloading this podcast episode for this week of ELS. That never gets boring right there, ladies and gentlemen. The intro. Having a hard time hearing myself on these headphones. I've been trying to adjust the damn levels. Maybe that may work right there. I think. Yeah. I can hear myself a little bit better right now. But besides that, thanks again. I want to say thank you for downloading this podcast. Whether it's on Stitcher Radio, off of Libsyn, the direct download link, from Libsyn.com/Everett Lee Show, or on iTunes. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and listening to another ELS podcast. I was supposed to record this a few days ago, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. I was supposed to have McShaft come on here and record this, but apparently he got sidetracked and he was supposed to text me back and say, yeah, I'm coming over. We're going to throw down some audio. We're going to talk about what we did last weekend. It's been 1 week since me, McShaft, my wife, and a friend of ours went to Fort Lauderdale for the Ring of Honor live show they had down there, which was fantastic, which I'll be talking about this week in the in-ring report. Also, be talking about what's going on with tomorrow's Survivor Series, or actually today's Survivor Series. I'm dropping this audio on Sunday, right before Survivor Series, to give you guys a heads up on what to expect, what my predictions are going to be for this Sunday Survivor Series. Tonight's going to be awesome because we got NXT War Games. I'm definitely looking forward to that, seeing them bringing War Games back. I'm so excited. They got 3 really good teams in there. Going to give it an all in the War Games. It's been one of the most craziest events. To me, War Games was like Hell in a Cell before Hell in a Cell. And I'm just excited for the NXT pay-per-view. The card is stacked good. Going to have good matches. Sunday, Survivor Series. That's changed within the last 3 weeks. And that's going to be a little bit different from what everything that's been going on with just people being rotated in and out of the card, and a lot of speculation on surprises, what may happen and what may not. But going to talk about that. Going to talk about also the recent release of James Ellsworth. Jericho versus Omega for Wrestle Kingdom 12. That's what we're going to have for the in-ring report for this week. Mirakuru Lounge. Going to talk about the CW shows. What shows are flowing in the story so far? I got my pick for that this week. But another reason why this podcast takes so long is because I started getting a sore throat. I'm barely getting out of having this sore throat, and it's just killing the hell out of me. But I wake up Feels like someone took a hot poker and shoved it down my damn throat. I'm medicating while I'm here at home and at night working my ass off, listening to audio podcast to pass the time and get through the night. And one podcast I'm going to mention, or actually two podcasts I want to mention right up front here. The Super Radio Brothers podcast. If you listened to that last week or 2 weeks ago, then you know the big announcement. I'm going to mention it right here. The first time on the Everett Lee Show podcast, ELS podcast, January 2018, Podcast City Network will be dropping. I'm happy and excited that there's a line up of shows that's coming together to promote each other and to just basically give you a wide variety of different podcasts out there. If you're trying to look for like a network with stuff for different varieties, you need to come to the Podcast City Network because you will not be disappointed with the lineup that I will be mentioning as the time gets closer when the network will be launching. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait for that to get off the ground and launch. There's going to be also, I'm going to tease just a little bit, there's going to be one show that is already throwing out there a couple episodes, which you will see come back at least once a month on the network, on the Podcast City Network. And another show which will be raw and uncut. That's all I'm going to mention for right now. That's all I'm going to mention. But one thing I am going to mention is that I want to thank City Limits Tap Room in DeLand, Florida. If you'd like to kick back a few cold ones with your friends while watching your favorite sports programs, then City Limits Tap Room is the place to be. City Limits Tap Room has a wide selection of TVs to watch your favorite sports with your friends. City Limits Tap Room has pool tables, dartboards, and among other things to do while you hang out with your friends. And the newly remodeled City Limits Tap Room now sells and services food for your needs. Swig a beer, drink a cold one, have something to eat, watch your favorite sports. It can't get any better than that. Tuesday night is guys' night with half off of draft beers starting at 9 p.m. If you're in the area, City Limits Tap Room is located on 2620 North Woodland Boulevard in DeLand, Florida. Swing by there, say hello to Jim, and let him know Everett Lee sent you. If you like shopping at Amazon.com, then head over to the EverettLeeShow.weebly.com and click on the Amazon banner links on the site. By clicking on the links, it gives a little bit back to the website and to the podcast. If you get your accessories from Amazon.com, then use the links on the EverettLeeShow.weebly.com website for all your Amazon shopping needs. If you like shopping at Amazon.com, then head over to EverettLeeShow.weebly.com and click on the Amazon banner links on the site. We're going to start off this week with the Mirakuru Lounge. Going to dive into that. Going to talk about what shows have been flowing with story, what I'm happy about here in the last couple weeks with the stories, and what's going on, what I'm looking forward to, and a little bit of heads up on what to expect, especially coming next week with the Crisis on Earth X crossover. They're doing another crossover like they did last year with Supergirl, The Flash, DC Legend of Tomorrow, and Arrow, all coming together for a crossover. It was so successful last year. Why not do it again this year? Talk about that and some more tidbits on what is going to be happening with the Mirakuru Lounge. Well, actually, not exactly what's happening in it. I'm sick. Don't mind me. It's the medication talking. So let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Here is this week's report in the Mirakuru Lounge.
The Mirakuru Lounge.
It's been an interesting couple weeks for the CW with Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and DC Legend of Tomorrow. So far, hands down, my opinion, this is just opinion based about the CW shows that I like talking about. so far this season, hands down, the funnest show to watch is DC Legends of Tomorrow. Perfect example last week with the return of Damien Dark. And that damn song got stuck on my head. Return to the Mac. Last week's episode seen the Legends head to 18th century to track down supposedly a vampire. But actually it was the rebirth and the reawakening of Damien Dark. Damien Dark, we seen him back last season, or a couple seasons back on season 4 of Arrow. He was first introduced on there. Then last season on the Legends of Tomorrow, he was introduced in the Legion of Doom, which they really didn't want to call it that, but it was him. Damien Dark with Malcolm Merlin and Theodore, whatever the hell his name is. Thawne? Yeah. The Reverse Flash. Well, they decide to bring Damien back. Damien is back, and he's planning something big. But that scene right there when he awoke, and that song, The Return of the Mac. How the hell can you go wrong with that, man? I mean, it was. I loved how they shot that scene, that fight scene, whatever, all the chaos going on. You had that song there just playing, and Damien, he's just so evil. He is such an evil character. He don't care if he kills you, hurts you, as long as he gets what he wants. And he does have a humorous side, which is pretty neat. Which I think so far in the Arrowverse, to me, a lot of people probably thought he was kind of stale, boring, not really dimensional. But this guy, with the wide range of being on Legends last season and having him return so far, it's this guy. He wants to do chaos. He wants to take over, but he can have fun at the same time. That's one thing I noticed about Damien Dark, especially this past week when the Legends head to Hollywood in 1937 to rescue Helena Troy. Damien was about to kill Jax, which was actually, oh man, why did the hell Stein? I was gonna brain fart. Stein and Jax switch bodies, a Freaky Friday kind of deal, which I thought was hilarious, and the actors pulled it off just great, playing their own counterpart mannerisms and acting like them, which was really, really great. I loved how they played off of each other really well by not being themselves, by being another character. If you look at it in a way, it's like you got the actor being a character of another character, two characters, which is pretty neat. That, my hat's off to both the actors that pulled that off. Really amazing, really good. I loved it. But yeah, Dark, he didn't want to kill Jax. He just started laughing. He's like, oh man. He's like, all right, you know what? Yeah, let's just kill him. Which was pretty funny. But the Legends, they had fun. And it looks like Sarah is going to be out of commission for a while. Not that long after almost getting her life force drained from her from Damien Dark. I love how Damien and Sarah butt heads, and you got if you look at it, you got the good versus evil, and good wants to prevail and kick evil's ass, you know. And some days, you know, it's like you may win the war, you may win a battle, or get away barely alive from a battle, but hopefully you can win the war. You can win a battle, but, you know, winning a war, whatever the hell that saying is, that's the way I look at it. But so far, that show has been so fun and entertaining. I can't mention it enough. And it looks like they're starting to go into a good story right now, which I'm happy about. Flash, same thing, man. Flash, that was a really good episode this past week. It was good. We're finding out more about DeVoe. We're going to find out who he is, and the the surprise and the shock value at the end of the episode with Barry and Team Flash trying to confront, a little spoiler alert here, confronting DeVoe and things not being like they are. I said to my wife, we were watching it, I said, this character is going to be different from anything Barry's faced before. Okay? He's faced, what, in the last 3 seasons? Speedsters, okay? Earborn Thawne, he was a smart scientist speedster. He was smart when it came to the science and calculations to stuff on the science part. You got Zoom, who just basically was manipulative, evil, and just was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Basically, it was like, bam, here I am. You found out who I am. This is what I'm trying to do. And he had a plan, just like Earborn did. You know, these villains have plans. And just with season 3, with Savitar, with that crazy storyline and everything, how that went down, all I got to say is that, yeah, there's some manipulative plan and stuff. Has to do with the speedsters we've seen the last 3 seasons. This one, the Thinker, is going to be more. This is going to be more of a psychological. I told my wife, more of a psychological battle. It's like cat and mouse. Okay, you got to play. You got to be 2 steps ahead. But the Thinker is always going to be about 3 steps ahead. But Barry is going to be like that through the whole the rest of the season, since they know who DeVoe is. Well, not really yet, but eventually they will find out who he really is and see who he really is. The thing is, DeVoe is going to be 3 steps ahead. And it looks like everything that he has planned and calculated is falling into place. He planned on Barry discovering him. He planned on all this, okay? But he will get defeated. We already know that because it was already mentioned, okay, last season. Some kind of thing that they built and they took down DeVoe. But like I said, knowing a little bit too much about your future can hurt you in the long run. Okay? What if DeVoe figures out ahead of time as the Thinker, thinking 3 steps ahead of Team Flash, finds out what Team Flash has to do to stop him? Okay? How's that gonna, affect? It's gonna affect Team Flash really bad. But hopefully they can stay a step ahead. It's just about staying ahead of the other opponent. Psychologically, it's just gonna be a mental battle with this villain. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. And at first I was hesitant, but after watching the last few episodes since it came back on, I'm starting to really get it now. I'm really starting to get it. I understand why, and it's going to be great. It is going to be great. Another Supergirl. Supergirl it's getting there. It is. It's starting to slowly get there. Just like I said with Arrow, but I'll get to that here in a moment. I want to touch on Supergirl. Supergirl now, they're starting to get there, and it looks like they're going to be more diverse for this season with the legions. The Legion of Superheroes apparently is going to play a massive part in season 3. And from next week's episode, it looks like we're going to get the return of Mon-El. Looks like he's going to be coming back. And they're going to be introducing, spoiler, character named Saturn Girl. She's going to be appearing, I guess, in next week's episode. But comicbook.com reports that on an interview they did with Supergirl with Katie McGrath, who plays Lena Luthor. She said the Legion of Superheroes would play, quote, a massive role in the show's third season. Of course, how did Mon-El get back? And that spaceship that we keep seeing that's lodged into the ocean in Central City, that's going to play a part of it. With Mon-El being on there, Saturn Girl, and with the maybe it's the it's the Legion of Superheroes. It may be, and with what's her name, awakening or finding out that she's bulletproof now. It's like they wait till the end and they show something a little bit more about this new character that's probably from the same planet Mon-El's from, or Krypton. And I just, it's going to build up. They're slowly building it because she's going to find out all the stuff that she can do, and she's going to find out her purpose and everything. And then is she going to turn bad, or is she going to be good, or what the heck is going to happen? You know? And I've heard this before already. Supergirl's kind of hitting into the little politics thing, especially with last week's episode with Morgan Edge. You know? With the lead poisoning thing, because of what they did last season with Mon-El, which was a little thing that, I mean, it's just, come on, man. You know, you just get on with the story. That's what I like to see. And now Supergirl, I think, after this week's episode, they will get into the story and it will go forward into what will be happening. It's going to take some time, but we're going to see it pay off. And I wonder how they're going to put and justify Supergirl's role into the Crisis on Earth X crossover next week. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm just looking forward to just seeing where they're going to be going with that. But Arrow, I think Arrow now is heading in the right direction now with, I guess, I was bitching and complaining about last few weeks that Arrow don't have a main villain yet. You know, it's like we had Prometheus. Every season we already had a main villain, and now we got this computer hacker. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. That's with Black Siren. It looks like the one that Felicity broke out last season with Helix. It looks like this guy is going to be a pain in their ass. And now things are starting to make a lot more sense to me now. It usually takes the first few episodes of a show when they come back, you know, of a season. I'm like, where the hell are they going with this? What are they doing? What are they doing? Why are they bringing this in? Why are they going that direction? They hint off a little bit about a villain, but I mean, what the hell? You know, that just gets me. Now we're starting to see a little bit more now. If you really look at it, Oliver, he's dropped the green arrow. He gave it to Diggler. Diggler's trying to deal with it. He's taking a serum to stop his tremors from the shrapnel that he suffered from last season from the explosion on the island. It had to do with a person that was supplying those drugs and had to shut down that operation. Now, it looks like Diggler has to give up the green arrow. He has to give it up. But Oliver has the FBI. She has that one woman for the FBI on his ass trying to bust him as Green Arrow. That's the thing. He's also trying to be a father. His relationship with Felicity is going in the direction. It's healing. And it's good. And then it's just with everything going on. And I just feel that Oliver, he will be back in the Green Arrow suit. He will be suiting up as Green Arrow again, because from the previews from next week's Crisis on Earth X, yeah, he's Green Arrow again. He definitely is. And it's going to be interesting to see how he jumps back into the role of Green Arrow when you got the feds on you. You try to be a father to a son, and just hold that relationship with the woman you love. It's going to be it's going to be a challenge. But if you really look at it, Oliver's faced all this stuff the last 2 seasons, almost about 3 seasons, if you really think about it. He can handle it. But it's going to tear him, it's going to weigh him down, but he's going to rise up above, and he's going to protect the city that he loves. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And speaking of Arrow, I want to throw this out here, that it looks like this past weekend, Stephen Amell stepped back into a wrestling ring for Ring of Honor in San Antonio. It's up on Twitter. He's in the ring with Cody Rhodes, and there's a picture on the Bullet Club Twitter. You can check it out with Stephen Amell with the Bullet Club, which is awesome. And I think it's awesome that he's a fan. I seen him 2 years ago up in New York at SummerSlam when he teamed up with Neville to go against Cody Rhodes and his tag team opponent. I think it was Wade Barrett, King Barrett. That was awesome seeing him live and the stuff that he can actually do, and just the range of athleticism from Stephen Amell is just fantastic. It is. This guy can act, and he can also basically almost do like The Rock, do stunts. Wrestle, act, do some stunts. You know what I mean? Just, it's amazing. What more can you say about that? But all in all, with all 4 of these shows, it looks like The Flash is really flowing with the story. We're going to get more and more, especially next week. Like I mentioned on the last podcast, that this next week during Thanksgiving is all going to be about the villains. All going to be about the villains. And then the week after that, I kept saying next week for Crisis on Earth X. It's 2 weeks away. In 2 weeks, we're going to get that. And I briefly want to say that if you thought last year's crossover event was spectacular, seeing the main superheroes representing each of their shows, plus you got the supporting cast of each show coming together too. Oh man, wait until in 2 weeks we see Crisis on Earth X. Reported from comicbook.com that more than 20 superheroes will be in one scene. One scene. Apparently, this is coming from little spoiler here. The scene is going to be shot on the Wave Rider. Okay, you're going to have all these superheroes on the Wave Rider at the same time, man. Okay. Brandon Roth, who plays the Atom, and Ray Palmer on Legends, basically said, quote, "I have a limited adventures in the crossover, but I do get to work with a few people that we had a good time. The best thing that we get to do was a big gathering of everyone here in our world on the Wave Rider, which was pretty awesome to have all these superheroes together, and was really unique and fun thing I think the audience will like as well." Now, the question is, what is the storyline for Crisis on Earth X? Apparently, in the story, the heroes of Supergirl, The Flash, and Arrow, and DC Legends will be going up against doppelganger versions of themselves from a universe where the Nazis won World War II. Sounds interesting. Sounds really interesting. But I can't wait to see all these heroes come together again, but even much bigger, and see characters you wouldn't expected come together, which is going to be freaking fantastic, man. And one character which will be returning to the Arrowverse will be Captain Cold. It's uncertain what his role will be playing on the Crisis on Earth X, and also from the trailers we've seen Prometheus coming back. What else are they going to do? What else are they going to pull out, and what stops are they going to pull out, and just make it, into... I mean, this is going to be great. I can't wait, and I'm happy that they are doing this again, and it's just going to be so fantastic. Apparently, well, I got it right here. I got right here. More on this right here. The Crisis on Earth X. It begins with Barry and Iris on their wedding. But things don't go like they planned. When villains from Earth X attack the ceremony, all the superheroes band together with the help from their super friends like Citizen Cold, the Ray, Felicity Smock, and Iris West, and Alex Danvers to take on their most formidable villains yet. Earth's mightiest heroes, Green Arrow, Supergirl, The Flash, and White Canary, lead their team into battle to save the world. It will be a 4-part crossover event, which will begin on Monday on November 27th with Supergirl, titled Crisis on Earth X Part 1. Then, for this crossover event, they're moving Arrow from Thursday to Monday night, right after Supergirl, with Crisis on Earth X Part 2, which will air on November 27th at 9 p.m. Then, Tuesday, we got on The Flash, we got Crisis on Earth X Part 3, which will air at 8 p.m. Then following that will be the final part on DC Legends of Tomorrow with Crisis on Earth X Part 4, which will air on November 28th at 9 p.m. So, there you have it. There you have it. It's going to be amazing. Just freaking amazing. Amazing. And one thing I do want to add is the CW will be introducing a new show called Black Lightning. Okay? Black Lightning, which looks pretty damn amazing. CW announced a lot of their premiere dates for 2018, including this show right here, Black Lightning, which will debuting on Tuesday, January 16th at 9 p.m. The Flash returns the same night. It's going to be at 8. But where does that put Legends? They're trying to figure out a place to put it. Apparently, rumor, and what they're speculating is that they may move the show Valor off of the 9 p.m. slot on Monday nights and slide in Legends right behind Supergirl. You know, I in some ways, I don't mind moving schedules around for these shows. Last year worked out freaking perfect. It worked out freaking perfect. Monday, Supergirl. Tuesday, Flash. Wednesday, Arrow. Thursday, Legends. There you go. There you go. Or you could do, yeah, it would, in a way, it would make sense. Okay? You got Monday, you got Supergirl. Okay? Supergirl. Legends. Tuesday, you can have the Flash and move Arrow back on Tuesdays. Why not? Why not? But I don't run a damn network. The only network I'll be running and help produce is the Podcast City Network, which will be coming in January 2018. Hey, did you see how I did that?
Damn!
There you go. Let's get a woo in there. Woo! That's right. That is right. And Justice League movie dropped this week. Been hearing a lot of mixed reviews. I want to throw this in here since we're talking about CW DC shows. Let's talk briefly about the movie Justice League. Been hearing reviews saying it's total garbage. A lot of people are praising it as, yes, this is the superhero team-up movie that's finally catching up with the Avengers. And then other people's like, it's total crap, man. I can wipe my ass with this and get a better movie. That's the stuff I'm hearing. I don't know. I will whenever I get time. Maybe after the holidays or whatever. By the time after the holidays, I've been so damn busy, like it's gonna, matter. But yeah, I'm gonna go see it. It'll probably be out on Blu-ray, DVD, and then I'll just get it that way. But I don't know. That's out. It just dropped this week. And so far, they said it's doing decent with money and stuff. It's pulled in about the same amount of money, about 10 mil, with, I believe it was Spider-Man Homecoming. So, yeah. I definitely want to check it out and see, is it better than Batman vs. Superman? About almost anything is freaking better than that. A lot of people claim Batman vs. Superman was basically...
All aboard the Midtown Express to hell.
That's right, and it really wasn't.
Now, this is a force to be reckoned with.
Not really, so... Hopefully this movie will probably just...
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Hopefully it'll do that. But that's all I have this week here on the Mirakuru Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna jump into the in-ring report right after this. Are you a fan of ELS and Chris Carnage? Well, you can show your support with the latest ELS and Chris Carnage swag. Head over to everettleeshow.weebly.com and click on the merch tab to get your ELS and Chris Carnage t-shirts. Look for special promo codes when available, such as percentage off and free shipping when you buy an ELS or Chris Carnage swag. Head over to everettleeshow.weebly.com and click on the merch tab to get your ELS and Chris Carnage t-shirts.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
All right, for this week's in-ring report, I want to start off talking about what I did last week, being McShaft did last week. We went to Fort Lauderdale for a Ring of Honor show. My first live Ring of Honor live event in Fort Lauderdale. It was in Fort Lauderdale last Saturday at the War Memorial Auditorium, which was good. The match card, which thanks to on Twitter finding out what the match card was fantastic. I just want to mention that I will definitely, if Ring of Honor comes back this way here down south in Florida again, I will definitely check it out if it's near my area. Okay, if they go to Miami, I doubt it. There's places in Miami that you don't want to go, and especially for this. Now, it took us from where I lived, it took about 4 hours to get there. We left early, and you got to realize I was riding all day, even into the night. When we got home late, almost late, okay? I rode on adrenaline, okay? I did take naps here and there in the car ride. At least I didn't have to drive, Thank God McShaft drove, which was awesome. We got in the car. We drove down there. We're, GPS is trying to find out where this place is and stuff. we started going through the neighborhood on the way going there. We're like, neighborhood don't look that bright, man. I mean, not that great. Not bright. Yeah, it was bright outside. It was still sunny. Okay. A little bit cool weather. I think that's probably what happened, the change of weather. That kind of got me sick. A little sick, and I'm still fighting sickness. I've been keeping it down. It hasn't gone full-blown, but it's made me feel like crap. But besides that, all right, besides that point right there, we're at a red light. I got to throw this out there. We're at a red light, and we're sitting there waiting. There's like this little strip mall, like right next to us. We're checking out the places and the cars. All of a sudden, all of us sitting there talking, and we looked at the corner, like to the right of us. We see this freaking tow truck come flying by, almost taking out the whole back row of cars parked right in front of the strip mall. I was like, damn. McShaft goes, did you just see that? And my wife's like, yeah. I was about to say, you just saw that. We all saw that, right? I was like, yeah, we all saw that. He cut all the traffic waiting, went up around, and just ran through and just cut every person off, man. He come flying by there, and it was like, and he took off, man. I mean, he freaking just hauled ass and got out of there. I was like,
oh my God, what the fuck is that?
That's how we all were. But we made it to the memorial, and we're sitting there waiting in line, talking with people and everything, which was pretty damn cool. Talking about, all hyped up about the event and everything and stuff, and the match card for this thing. All I got to say is Ring of Honor delivered on this show. I left that night happy and satisfied and not disappointed, and it was freaking awesome. It was just freaking awesome. Okay. We get in the arena there, they check us and everything, and we had general admission. We sat there. Show started, and the first match we had was Manny Leon and Brandy Rhodes. They opened up the card. Good, decent match. Brandy, she's just getting better and better in the ring, from what I've seen so far with her. And I think it's a disappointment that WWE never did capitalize and actually put her in the ring and had her wrestle instead of just being an announcer, the former Eden Styles. They could have utilized her in the ring. She's getting better and better. Of course, I mean, look at her husband, Cody. Cody Rhodes is a fantastic in-ring worker. I love what he does, and she's good. She's gonna have a really good career as a wrestler in the ring, and it showed that she is getting her stuff down. I say she's just still a little green. No disrespect or anything, but she is picking things up, and she is doing stuff that is fantastic. She's doing stuff she feels comfortable with, and she's executing moves, and it's just working out really fantastic. And can't wait to see what else she brings to the table for that match right there. She ended up losing, but all in all, it was a pretty good startup, get the people ready and everything and stuff for the match. We had, I don't know if this is we had Matt Taven versus Flip Gordon. That was one of the matches there. I think we had the Beer City Brewer in a tag match, which was pretty freaking, it was crazy, man. That was a pretty good match there, but let me jump up to, I'm trying to remember a lot of this stuff. Oh, yeah. We also seen, he used to be in WWE as Simon Gotch. Simon Grimm debuted, and that was a good match there with him. And I can't think of who he wrestled against, but that was a good match there. I think it was with the Kingdom. I'm not sure. But then we got Matt Taven versus Flip Gordon. I'm trying to jump over to this because it just, well, before I jump into that, let me just say one last thing about Simon Grimm. His style, this style is totally different, almost about the same. A little bit different, more stuff added in than what is seen from when he was Simon Gotch in WWE. I met him when he was back in NXT. Awesome guy, really good in-ring talent, and it's neat to see him actually do stuff and see him pull off stuff that you didn't get to see in WWE. So that is a plus right there. Matt Taven versus Flip Gordon. Oh my God. Damn. The crowd, by this time, the crowd was invested in this, but by the time this rolled around, the crowd was totally invested into this. I gotta mention that we had the tie-dye guy who you probably seen during Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-views, dressed up like Hulk Hogan. Now, he was out there, Taven got out there and, nagged him on, heckled him, and then he heckled him back, and he got up in his face there, and the crowd just started going crazy, got a Hogan chant going. Taven did the big boot and the leg drop, and he got booed for it. He brought the heat on himself. And then we had another guy on the other side dressed up like CM Punk, which we noticed, who was in the line while we were waiting to get into the arena to watch the show that night. And it was such a fun match, and the crowd was invested into this. This was, to me, one of the most funnest matches to see with the crowd participation and just going crazy over this, man. It was fantastic. It was. I really did enjoy it. With Matt Taven scoring the win over Flip Gordon. We had the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champion match. We had Adam Page with the villain Marty Scurll versus the Best Friends, Beretta and Chucky T, versus The Addiction with Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. Now, at the merch table, I did pick up a Bullet Club t-shirt for me and the wife, and I did meet Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian there. They were selling their comic book there, which you could pick up and they could sign. And those guys were pretty cool. I chatted with them for a little bit. By that time, I bought Bullet Club shirts. I'm like, damn, I don't got no freaking cash. They were taking cash. I'm like, I'll have to come back. I never did get to come back after I gave my wife her Bullet Club t-shirt. And the expression, if you're married, you know where this is coming from. Well, how much that cost? Told her how much it cost. She was like, oh, my God. She just wanted to kill me right there. But I had to get a shirt. I had to get a shirt. I have to represent Bullet Club, man. I have to represent Bullet Club. And other than that match right there was pretty damn good. That was freaking awesome. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. So much excitement and energy flowing throughout the arena. I believe The Addiction won that one. I think it might be the Bullet Club might have won that one. I can't remember. I can't remember because it was just so exciting. Because the crowd and everything, the electricity was invested in this. Oh yeah, I do want to mention the Briscoes came out and they basically, just cut a heelish promo on the crowd and basically said the crowd there in Florida sucked. And the crowd gave back and let the Briscoes know what they thought about them, which was pretty fun. And I'm trying to remember that segment, what happened with that. Someone, I guess, ran in, he got his ass kicked, and they left. That was basically it. They didn't have a match that night. They came out there, gave some heat, and got some heat back and left. So, there you go. We had Shane Taylor versus Punishment Martinez, which was a good match. I'm trying to remember that. I'm trying to go off the top of my head what matches and stuff I remember. And I do want to say that the World Tag Team Championship match with the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Kingdom, that was a good one right there. I want to say the Kingdom ended up winning that one. Tiki O'Ryan and Vinny ended up winning that. And what was neat was, since we're there, it was Veterans Day, and it was the War Memorial Auditorium. You had the vets sitting up on the stage there, and watching. After the match, the Kingdom turned and faced the veterans and saluted them, which was awesome. A lot of respect there, and a lot of good, representation and showing, thank you for everything you did for this country, the veterans, since it was Veterans Day. By this time, the crowd was waiting and could not wait for this one here. We had the American Nightmare, Cody versus Rocky Romero. Good match, man. Table spot, man. Cody and Rocky went through that, man. And then thumbtacks. Holy shit. Thumbtacks. The first time I got to see a match in person with thumbtacks. Cody ended up going through the thumbtacks. The match went back and forth, for the belt. Really good. Romero gave it all, laid it all on the line. The crowd was totally into this, man. Excuse me, I had to take a sip here. Mouth getting dry. Crowd was totally into this. I loved how Cody played heelish up. Didn't do one sweet or too sweet to the people ringside. He gave them the bird. And then he didn't do the crossroads into the thumbtacks. And when he did that, he ended up getting the cover and getting the win and retaining the World Championship, ROH World Championship. He cut a promo leading into the main event, which was the Elite, the IWGP United States Champion, Kenny Omega, and the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, versus Dalton Castle, versus Jay Lethal, and the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Kenny King. Good match, entertaining, a lot of energy. Bullet Club was the favorite in this one, and all I gotta say is about Bullet Club. Everyone was for Bullet Club. Bullet Club is so over, man. How can you not be a fan of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite? How can you not be a fan? They got their show that's on YouTube, which comes out once every week or maybe twice every week at times. How can you not go wrong with that? Their merchandise is like top sellers, and they're doing so great. This match was great and awesome and everything above that. Dalton Castle ended up getting the pin over Kenny Omega, which was surprising. But right now, if you really look at it, they're trying to build Dalton Castle for Cody for the next pay-per-view event, which will be for the title. And they're building him. They're doing a good job with Dalton. Dalton's a fan favorite. And I could definitely see a good match with Cody and Dalton when the time comes, when the belt is put on the line and these two just go at it. It's going to be a fantastic match, and I cannot wait for that. After the match, the Bullet Club, the Elite was hanging out, and the rest of the Bullet Club members came out. We had the Hangman, the Villain, and Cody come out, and it was neat. The Addiction came out there, tried to crash the party, didn't turn out well because Kenny asked the Young Bucks to put, I think it was Christopher Daniel, in the cease and desist finisher, which is one of them puts the opponent in the sharpshooter while the other one does the crossface. That's the cease and desist. Perfect, man. The Young Bucks have taken lemons and have made lemonades with everything they do that's been thrown at them, especially with the recent thing with WWE with the cease and desist thing. I left happy, satisfied, and I recommend that if Ring of Honor comes to a town near you, please go check them out. You will not be disappointed. And speaking of Omega, man, Jericho and Omega, man, Wrestle Kingdom 12 on January 4th of next year, man. That is going to be one hell of a dream match. And on both sides, with Jericho and Omega and New Japan, they will make some damn ticket sales, and there will be a lot of money to be made on both parts and both parties. So that's something to really, really look forward to. Can't wait for that right there. Seeing what kind of style Jericho will bring to the table. You know, we'll probably see a lot of his WWE style, but also maybe stuff you will get to see that you wouldn't expect. It's going to be awesome. It is. It's going to be an awesome match for next year. James Ellsworth was recently released from WWE, and someone mentioned that to me, and I was like, no way, they released him. So I looked it up, and yeah, WWE has released him. I'm not too surprised with this because the Ellsworth character, to me, I feel they didn't have anything else for him, and his time has come and gone. But how many people can say they finally made it to the biggest show, or the big boys, the biggest organization in wrestling, the top dog in wrestling or sports entertainment, however the hell you want to look at it. I mean, people say they can have a hell of a year doing what they did, and just wondering. I wasn't really, or not too much of a big fan of Ellsworth, but we'll see what happens with him. He's got some credibility now. When he gets booked for indie shows, he has that credibility now that, yeah, James Ellsworth, yeah, you're the guy who got his ass kicked by Braun Strowman. And then the controversial first ever woman in the bank match. Women's Money in the Bank match. There you go. I said it. You know, all that right there. So I'd say James will not have no problem getting booked if promoters decide to promote him or book him for their promotion. I don't think he'll have a problem with that, with the notoriety and the accountability that he has right now after working for WWE. But best of luck. Survivor Series in NXT War Games. I am really looking forward to War Games, okay? How can you not go wrong with this card? Okay. You got Pete Dunne will take on Johnny Gargano, but they said the match won't air. Okay, this is what I'm reading here. It won't be airing on the War Games broadcast, but it will be taped and aired on next week's episode. Okay, before the pay-per-view, they are going to do some NXT stuff for next week after the Fallout, like they do with the NXT and stuff. So yeah, Ruby Riott versus Sonya Deville will also be on that episode right after next week after War Games, and there's 2 matches to look forward to. But on the match card, oh my God, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 5 matches, 5 good matches. We got Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan. I'm looking forward to that one. I like Cassius Ohno, but I can see Lars basically giving Ohno a run for his money on this one, being a powerhouse. It's technicality versus powerhouse on this one. Then we got Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream, which will be a Another fantastic match. We've seen the story, building up for this for weeks after weeks, and we'll get to see what happens with that. The vacated NXT Women's Championship match with the Fatal 4-Way of Kairi Sane versus Peyton Royce versus Ember Moon versus Nikki Cross. Oh, man. They're all favorites to win. Let me just throw that out there. They're all favorites to win. I personally want to see Ember Moon win it. I think it's her time. When she got injured, she missed out on that opportunity, though, but she made it up with a hell of a match and a hell of a comeback after her injury. And I could see, they're all favorites, fan favorites to win it. All four of them, which will be amazing. But my pick is Ember Moon. Then we got the NXT Championship match. Drew McIntyre versus Andrea Sienna Almas with Zelina Vega by his side. Drew is going to put over one hell of a match. And Andrea is going to bring it. They're both going to bring it. That's what I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to say that. I'm trying to pick the words in respect, unbiased. Both of them are talented. Look at Drew McIntyre. He left, he came back, and he became champion at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Andreas, it's about time, after all the hard work and the rethinking and everything, and having Vega by his side, putting him on the path, going after the goal. It's going to be one heck of an interesting match. Then, for the main event, we got the War Games match, man. You got 2 rings with a cage over it. We got the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong versus the Undisputed Era of Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly versus Sanity of Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane. So, oh man, again, I love all the participants. I'm gonna have to go with Adam Cole, baby, on this one. The Undisputed Era and Red Dragon are gonna win this one. Sanity is the fan favorite to win it, but gonna say Adam Cole, baby. Undisputed Era on that. War Games will be taking place actually tonight here in the next few hours. I gotta check that out before I go to work and see what's gonna happen on that. Survivor Series, man. Let me just say, I've never seen a pay-per-view change like it has and did within the last 3-4 weeks. First, it was Braun. No. No. What the hell am I trying to say? Yep, sorry about that. That's my brain. First, it was Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal. Then we had Alexa Bliss versus Natalya. Then we had Ambrose and Rollins, The Shield versus the Usos. All that's changed now, man. All of that has changed. We got the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, now going up against the newly crowned SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. These are all non-title matches, too. Then we still got The Miz, the Intercontinental Champion, going up against the United States Champion, Baron Corbin. Then we got the Raw Tag Team Champions, which is now Cesaro and Sheamus versus SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. And, of course, now we got, for the main event, we got Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, versus the newly crowned AJ Styles as the WWE Champion. And then you got the Shield versus the New Day. Then you got the... All right, this is where it got really interesting, okay? Really, really interesting, all right? You have, okay, Team Raw on the men. You got Kurt Angle as the captain with Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Triple H versus SmackDown, led by Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and John Cena. The classic 5-on-5 elimination match. Then we got the Team Raw women's with Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Asuka, Sasha Banks, and a fifth member to be announced at the pay-per-view, which I'll get to here in a minute. First, Team SmackDown with Becky Lynch, Carmella, Charlotte Flair. Well, not Charlotte Flair now. Okay. With Naomi and Tamina. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. What the hell is happening? Okay. All I gotta say is that I am looking forward. I think The Miz, okay, on this, where I'm reading this from, it's kind of like how I can see it happening. Yeah. The Miz, I am going to have to go with him. Like I've talked with McShaft, he's going to pull one over Corbin. Okay. Team SmackDown may win the elimination, which I'm going to have to go with Raw. I mean, look at the powerhouses they got. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And then, of course, yeah, you got the Cruiserweights. You got Enzo Amore putting the Cruiserweight Championship on the line against Kalisto for the pre-show. Yeah. Charlotte is the fan favorite to win against Alexa Bliss, which is my pick. And then you got Brock Lesnar, who's going to dominate over AJ Styles. I will be surprised if AJ Styles gets one over Brock, which I doubt it. But if he does, it'll be one of those holy shit moments. All right? It will. It's like AJ Styles defeated Brock Lesnar. What? You know? But who knows? Who definitely knows? Now, on the women, they haven't announced that fifth member. People have been speculating, and it makes perfect damn sense. Who is going to be the fifth member of Raw? Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? I think it's going to be the returning Paige. If you really do think about it. All right. She's been back. She's been training at the Performance Center, getting that ring rust off. And she was at behind the scenes there, hanging around on Monday Night Raw. All right. Well, there you go. Perfect timing. You know, that'd be one of the first big surprises we'll see on Sunday night. Now, okay, it's like there's going to be probably some other surprises during the elimination match, and maybe during the main event with Lesnar and AJ Styles in their non-title match. So, this pay-per-view, I am going to watch it and see what the hell's happening. This pay-per-view feels more like a Clash of Champions or Night of Champions and not a typical Survivor Series. It's like Night of Champions basically with extra matches in as a bonus. It's like, all right, you get to see your champion versus champion, but here, we got this match here you can watch, and this match too, and that match. So there you go. I believe WWE is trying this hardest, okay? They're trying to make you watch and buy this pay-per-view. And you should, because, I mean, look at the main event. Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. You know, there you go. There you go. And I believe that's about it. All I have this week for the In-Ring Report. Gonna take a quick break. When I come back, gonna give some final thoughts, wrap this podcast up, and basically sign off. But we'll get more to that here right after this. Stay connected with ELS, the Everett Lee Show podcast, on the following platforms. EverettLeeShow.weebly.com, the official website of the Everett Lee Show. Facebook.com/The Everett Lee. Click the like button, click the follow button for the latest notifications. Twitter @the Everett _ Lee for the latest tweets, the latest podcast links on Twitter. Stay connected with these platforms of the Everett Lee Show ELS podcast.
Do it! Just do it! No, what are you waiting for? Do it!
Want more ELS? The Everett Lee Show podcast is available at the following. Download the audio version of this podcast and previous podcast at everettleeshow.libsyn.com, Stitcher.com, Everett Lee Show. Leave us a rating and a comment in the comments section. iTunes. Subscribe to ELS, the Everett Lee Show on iTunes. Give us a rating and a comment. For the video version of this podcast and previous podcasts, visit youtube.com, Everett Lee Show. For interview segments, visit dailymotion.com/Everett Lee Show.
Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
ELS, the Everett Lee Show, is your shot of entertainment to the head.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, right before I wrap this up and call it a day and close out on this podcast, I'm going to mention that the Punisher Netflix series, The Punisher, is finally out. And I'm going to sit back right when I get done with this podcast. I'm going to jump on Netflix and check out the first episode. And I'll let you know what I think about it. This right here, I'll have to see what happens right after Thanksgiving, how busy I get and stuff and everything going on with work. And if I can throw out a podcast. If not, I'll be throwing something out there that I have on the ELS catalog for that week. But next week's podcast is kind of up in the air right now on when and where. But I will say this, when I do come back with a brand new podcast, if that's the case, yeah, definitely going to be talking about The Punisher. Going to be definitely talking about that. And also, been trying to finish up the Corey Taylor book, Now That You're Making Me Hate You, which has been a fantastic book. Basically, Corey lets all loose on a rant about everything from people buying stuff, impulse buying, to people who can't drive in California, to fashion, to music, to etc. Good read. Been reading it. Gonna try to finish that up. I'm almost done. I'm getting there at the end. Can't wait to finish the book and then move on to another book and see what else there is. I got the Fight Club 2 graphic novel, the hardback cover I picked up. I forget where I picked it up at, but I'll probably jump into that one when I get done reading Corey Taylor. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Thank you so much for downloading and listening to this podcast. If you get this podcast from libsyn.com/Everett Lee Show, that's awesome. StitcherRadio.com and iTunes. So be sure to check back each week for a new episode of ELS, the Everett Lee Show. Your shot, entertainment.